gets behind it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is up, YouTube? I hope you're having a great today, yesterday, and tomorrow. Coming at you with another awesome aisle video. This time we're going back to the breakdown method of videos because I have a great video that just needed to be broken down to show you guys how we played it and to give you a little bit of thought into what our game plan was when we went into it. My partner, who's Amanda XO, and I are on Spoons. We run into a Rex duo and we play the whole thing with a lot of strategy that I think is going to help you all really enhance what you're able to do when you're out there in the fields, in combat, or looking for combat to increase your potential for more victories while you're playing Apex. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. I respond to all the comments. I love getting back to you guys. I would love to hear your questions on what we were thinking, your comments on how you thought the fight went, what you thought about how the Rex played, what you thought about how we played, the entire thing. I respond to all of them. Let me know your thoughts down low. Also, like the video. It really helps show it to more people. If you guys should just hit that thumbs up, it'll get it to more people. They'll be able to learn a little bit more about how they can enhance their gameplay as well. And I would greatly appreciate it. Last but not least, if you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on. We just passed 500 subscribers. It was our first milestone on the channel, and I want to thank you guys so freaking much. It means a lot to me. But now we are on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean the world to me if you guys would subscribe as well. And last but not least, don't forget that you can still get your I Am the Meteor merchandise in the shop. The link will be down below in the description. I can't wait to see all of you rocking it out there. Send me pictures. I'd love to see it. I love you all to death. Chin kisses to everybody. I'll catch you in the next one. What is up, everyone? We're back with another breakdown video. This time my partner and I are playing on Spoons. I'm with Who's Amanda XO. We're sitting in these trees talking, hanging out, IRL. She's actually my partner in real life as well. Shout out to Who's Amanda. We're sitting in these trees having a good time, sitting in a Discord call together, when we notice that there is a sub Rex coming down the river with 2 full-grown Rexes in tow. Now, these are the fights we want, so we're not going to shy away from it. We could trot our way to safety. We could use the trees to get away, but we want to take this fight, but we want to take it on our terms. So what do the Rexes want to do? The Rexes want to find us in the open. They want to do double bite pass-throughs, maybe even triple bite pass-throughs, depending on how good the Rexes are. And they want to separate themselves and come back and continue to do that until one of the Spoons is dead. Now, we know that, so we don't want to let them do that. In this circumstance, when we see the Rexes coming down, what we want to do is we want to do one of two things. We want to separate ourselves so we can get the Rexes separated from each other, or we want to get hidden in the trees somewhere deep where the Rexes can't find us, and we have the ability to ambush them first, maximize our bleed on them with 3 bites, and then separate ourselves so the fight takes longer with them bleeding heavily. That significantly increases the odds of the Spoons winning if they're able to put max bleed on the Rexes from the beginning. So we want to get the jump on them theoretically. Now, that's not always going to be the case, especially when the Rexes have some scouts that can tell you where they are. So they're coming up the river. They want to engage. We know they want to engage. It's very unlikely they're going to be walking up here. We see how weird the sub and the juvie are acting. So we immediately get up and we talk about, hey, we need to separate ourselves. Let's use these trees as cover. Let's try to get ourselves to a safe spot. And we're going to talk about it as it goes, but I'm going to play it for you guys and we're going to break it down and then we'll pause it at significant and very important parts. So we see the Rexes coming down the river. We immediately get up out of these trees because we see the juvie, we see the sub, we know they're scouting. We look down the river and we see the Rexes. So we, from the onset, go, okay, let's separate ourselves, let's create some distance, and let's try what I talked about earlier, which is to find a place where we can ambush them from secret. Now, here's something very important. Okay, we don't know this right now because of all the cover in the trees, but we will know it in just a second. We see the Rex with the red top here was the one that was the closest. We couldn't quite see the other Rex, but we will see it in a second. We're in the trees, so we can't see what's happening, but this Rex decides to load up ambush from all the way back there and try to sprint all the way up here. Now, if anybody's ever played Rex, you understand that the Rex has a finite amount of stamina. It doesn't get it back while walking, and using that much stamina to try to catch up is putting you at a massive disadvantage to try to do double bite pass-throughs, which is theoretically how you beat a spoon. Once you break a spoon's leg on this server, the spoon can then bite as many times as it wants. It becomes, in essence, a tail riding server for the spoon, which is not how a Rex wants to fight versus Spino. They want to do double bite run-throughs without the spoon being able to bite as many times, because in a 3-bite server, that's where the advantage comes in for the Rex. So we see the Rex sprinting all the way here, and we don't know until this Rex gets to about this corner, but it still has not stopped using its stamina. It's scouting, and it sees us. Bang. Now this Rex continues to run. It has used, by the time it gets up to us here, will probably have used at least half of its stamina bar just to try to get up to us. At the very least, it will be using a third of its stamina bar. So our tactic of separating ourselves and separating one of the Rexes from the other is already working because of a mistake that the Rex is making on its own accord, because they were so anxious for a fight. Rex players really think spoons can be easy, especially when they've gotten easy Spino players before. We're going to show them that it's not so easy every time when they play with skill and smarts. So our tactic to try to separate these Rexes is already working. The other problem that this Rex creates for them, for their pack, is that it is separating itself from the other Rex. If this other secondary Rex wants to try to catch up to this Rex right here, it's going to have to use a significant amount of stam to do the exact same thing. So let's take a look at how this all plays out and see if you guys can spot where our decisions really start to affect the tide of this fight. Okay, here's where it all starts. Official combat. I don't think either the Rex or the spoon lands a bite. Maybe the Rex lands a bite, but I think they both miss here. Now you see the second spoon is positioned in a spot where if this Rex decides to run straight through the spoon, the second spoon is already ready to engage it. The other big thing we notice from this position as the spoon is aimed down here is we see this second Rex having to use stamina again. So our tactic of creating space and engaging them on our terms is already working. A beautiful job done by the spoon number one. I believe that's Who's Amanda, that takes off sprinting after the first Rex, which is a great idea here. She uses the quick turn, spins around, and immediately gets behind that Rex. That she is going to put that Rex in a ton of trouble. It's going to have to do one of two things. It's going to have to use stamina to try to get away, and that's after already using a ton of stamina to get up here, or it's going to take a bunch of bites from her. At the minimum, it's going to take three, or excuse me, at the maximum, it's going to take 3 bites from her, which is going to put the Rex at or close to max bleed to begin the fight. So she follows through the trees, does a great job. This Rex burns all that stam just to get up to the secondary spoon. I believe this is me. I use the tree here to bait the Rex into a bad turn for itself. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this fight, then we're going to rewind it, and we're going to show you exactly how well played that was down there as well. So I use the tree up here to bait the Rex into a bad turn. And I separate again. The reason I keep separating isn't because I don't want to engage with the Rex. It's because I want to get this Rex into such low stamina after realizing how much stamina it's already used, that by the time it wants to do run-throughs, it has to just sit there and eat bites from a broken leg spoon. So this Rex actually does a great job there, separating, but then eats 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It sounds like 6 bites that Rex eats from me. This Rex is absolutely on max bleed now. So we said we'd rewind it a little bit, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to rewind it here. We'll speed it up so you guys can go back to this. This is where the first Rex makes a mistake. And let's pause this because we want to see how Amanda was able to handle this right here. So who's Amanda comes through the trees, follows the Rex, gets behind it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, we're at the position here. We saw this already happen earlier, where this Rex is going to engage me. Who's Amanda has engaged this Rex down here. Both Rexes have now taken 6 bites from the spoon, which means they're both on max bleed already, and both spoons have at best taken 2 bites from each Rex. At best. Our benefit here is that we burned a ton of stamina away from these Rexes. Now they're in a position where this Rex probably has almost none. If they do, they have very little. And the second Rex has maybe half because of how much stamina it had to use to catch up to its over anxious partner. So we're going to see who's Amanda puts a lot of pressure on this Rex, continues to make it walk away. And we'll see me and this other Rex pop through the trees here in a second. Who's Amanda actually does a very smart thing here and decides to come back to try to catch the Rex I was engaging so we can double team it. So here's where we make a very, very important decision, okay? This is the point of the fight that is very important. Both Rexes are at max bleed. Now, we both know that the first Rex has the least amount of stamina. Who's Amanda calls out to me that she landed 6 bites. I call out to her that I've landed 6 bites on the other Rex. They're both at max bleed. Which Rex are we going to attack? Our trot with our broken leg is still quite fast. And all we have to do at this point in the fight is make sure both Rexes are standing and they bite us as little as possible while we land as many bites as possible. The longer this fight goes on, with that Rex on max bleed or that Rex on max bleed and they're standing, the easier it is for us to win. In essence, we will win that fight as long as they stay separated, standing up, and they're bleeding so heavily. So we continue to follow this Rex. And the important part of this positioning is we're going to stay behind each other here. We're going to stay close enough that no matter what the Rexes do, we're close enough we can both engage on the same Rex. This first Rex that used a lot of stamina decides to try to sit. We both try to engage it. We just miss it. But we force it to stand and we force it to walk. And remember, like I was saying, it's already on max bleed. The longer this Rex walks, the longer it bleeds. And when it's on max bleed from spoons, it's not going to take long for this Rex to fold if it continues to walk around. So we keep putting pressure on it. Second thing that's very important to point out here. Very important to point out. Notice how we're positioned here. If this Rex decides to go for a run-through bite, a double run-through here, the second spoon is in a position to land bites. So this spoon will land bites on the run-through. This spoon will land bites once the run-through has already happened if the Rex decides to engage. But neither Rex can afford to do so right now. They're both, one, low on stam and bleeding extremely heavily. So we're going to keep progressing the Rex. We're going to keep on being aggressive because we don't want them to sit. We don't want them to stand still. We don't want them to do anything that would allow them to even try to stop taking maximum damage here. We get a touch split because I believe it's me in the back. Maybe it's actually who's Amanda in the back. But one of us decides to try to cut him off if they decide to go the other way. It doesn't work out that way, but that's okay. It was smart for us to try to make that decision. Second Rex comes in, goes for a run through, and there's the double bite that it tries to land. It only lands 1, so we're, 3 bites for the front Rex. There's a 4th bite. That Rex takes 3 more. And this is where it's all baked into the cake. This is where it's all baked into the cake here. This is a very important position. We are so close to each other that no matter what Rex attacks, the other spoon will also be able to attack that Rex. Neither of them have very much stam. They are both so low that they have maybe 1, 2, at the very most, the one in red has 3 run-through bites because it got to sit for a little bit over there. But they're both bleeding extremely heavily. So every time they run through, they take massive amounts of bleed damage. So we're going to position ourselves where no matter how they run through us, they have to eat a significant amount of bites from each spoon to do so. Great job from the front spoon, hitting bites on the front, spinning, hitting bites on the back. And we're just going to keep spinning around each other. Now we see another Rex sit down. We're going to progress toward it again. The sub comes in to try to bite. And bang. The fight is now over. And each spoon, maybe the highest bite number on the spoons were 5. Because what we did was continuously make sure that we kept the Rexes moving. But from the beginning of that fight, what won us this fight was that we baited the Rexes into using what one of their biggest mistakes is, wasting stamina. We created distance at the start. We attacked each Rex and placed maximum bleed on both of them while taking minimal amounts of damage, using the terrain and our quick turn to maximize our efficiency. Then we never let the other Rexes get together. And second, or last but not least, excuse me, we always kept them moving. We made sure that our bleed did as much of the work as it possibly could. And that is how you effectively take 2 well-played Rexes and make them look like they did not have an idea what was going on. It was just a smart play, a heads-up design in terms of how we approach the fight. And from the beginning, we were able to put ourselves in a successful position, and it ended up turning out successfully as well. So when you go to apply this same rule while you're fighting Rexes, think about all the advantages that you have over the Rexes and really apply them to your dinosaur. Create the fight that you are going to be the most successful in. And you guys are going to have a lot more success as well. Massive shout out to Who's Amanda XO for the great job as the spoon player, being my partner here. Shout out to the Rexes for giving us a good fight. If you have any questions at all about how this fight played out, what our thought process was while we were going through it, please leave them in the comments below. As well, let me know your opinions. What would you have done differently if you were the spoons? What would you have done differently if you were the Rexes? What did you find intriguing about the fight? I want to hear about all of it in the comments below. As well, don't forget to leave a like on the video. It really does help it show to more people. And last but not least, our goal is 1,000 subscribers on the channel. We are on our way there. We finally broke 500. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It takes a second of your time and it really helps me out. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so you never miss another video. I love you all to death. Thank you for joining me for another breakdown video. I'll catch you in the next one.